Hey guys, it's at K Deuces, your sports bet queen, and we are back with another episode of the Crooks and Books podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Big Pick Brad,
Howdy, live from Cancun.
and then also Prado the Pointer.
What's up?
Um, we are missing Caleb because he's at an event, and then we also are missing Bobby Banks. Happy birthday to his wife, Bianca. So they will have their picks in. Obviously, you're not going to get a newsletter because we are selling our picks now that we are in the playoffs. But you will still get an analysis of what we think of these games going forward. Let me go through some stats from last week for the wild card. We got me at 10 and 3, 77%, 4 and 2 for Big Pick, 67%, 3 and
Back in the game.
for huh? What'd you say?
I said back in the game.
Back in the game. And then 3 and 3 for Caleb, 50%, Bobby, 4 and 2, 67%, and 5 and 1 for Mr. Prado the Pointer at 70%. And then thank you to all those that bought the packages, also who bought my package for the promo for the fires and donating. And then I have an announcement later for any local people that are wanting to donate to the LA fires. Let me go with some takeaways. Actually, we finished at 26 and 11, and we finished at 70% overall for a wild card weekend, which is great. So whoever bought the packages, hopefully you made a ton of money. And you didn't share it with us, but that's fine because you bought my shit anyway. Um, all right, takeaways. Uh, Chargers, what happened? Brad, I'll let you talk about it later. Pitt, we knew that was gonna happen. So funny. So funny. And then Buffalo and Denver. That's also something that we knew that was gonna happen, but they gave them for a run for their money. They gave them for the run for their money for a little bit, at least in the beginning. And then Philly G kind of knew that was gonna happen too. And Baker, you really screwed up some shit, so that's your fault. And Rams, the fire guys, you guys were so right about that. Prado, what's your takeaways?
My takeaway is that it sucks to see Baker just kind of come back to being Baker. I mean, I was kind of rooting for him a little bit, but I guess he's just not it.
Or Mayfield.
I mean, he has all these tools, but I don't know, just I was kind of hoping that it would be his year to kind of get over the hump.
Mm,
Um,
it's tough.
but it's funny, he acted the same way as Sam
Was that
Darnold.
not all his fault though? That was all his fault,
It's
right?
all his fault,
Yeah. There's
100%.
no
Like
there's nothing else. Like that
fumbles the
whole
ball.
momentum, all that.
He started to act like Darnold.
And
And
guys, remember, I think I was texting Big Pick on this. Remember, I was texting, I was like, Sam Darnold seeing ghosts.
it
I thought
wasn't
we were watching
scary.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. And he started seeing him last week. So I was like, oh shit, there's a problem.
And
So
until the Chargers find a way to plug in and invest into that offense, they will sit there and kind of like, I don't know. That was very bad. They should have whooped their ass. They had every chance to whoop it, and then they didn't. Jim does the good old-fashioned kicks. He went for it at a pivotal time. And then they just never came back from there. I don't think Justin Herbert's that bad because they were talking about how Justin Herbert he doesn't
no,
have
he just had a bad
he
game.
doesn't have any wins or anything like that in the playoffs. He does kind of I don't know, he kind of exposes himself a little bit in the playoffs, but I think T Higgins could really answer
Send
everything.
a blank check.
And
Yeah.
plus he just had a bad game, and then
But
yeah, exactly.
it just sucks that the guy had 4 interceptions all year, then had four in this game.
No, but and that's what it is. You got to make some probably improvements to your line, improvements to your offense. Either way, right, Brad? You guys got to get a receiver. Like,
Yeah.
So the receiver is the first thing on the agenda, I would assume, either through the free agency or the draft.
and
Um,
and I think that's the optimist thing to
Higgins or
do for
nothing.
them.
Simple as
it,
that. Higgins
sell
or
out for
nothing.
Higgins. We got the money to spend. Other than that, the offense is. If we get a threat on the receiver side, other than McConkey, who's a little guy like a Wes
Yeah.
Welker, we could be really,
And it
and
would be
also
a lot. Yeah.
still tight end would help too because our tight ends they're okay. They're not that great, but
It
it
would
would
just be
definitely
a
be
lot
nice.
more, yeah, it'd be easier to win games, especially playoff games going against the big uh teams that have all this, right? That they already have
Yeah,
all. So it's a good way to, yeah, it's disappointing. Yeah, you're on vacation, but it's a good way to make improvements. And that's why I think Jim's there. He
They have the
gotta
formula. They
make
just
the
need
changes.
a little bit of the retooling, and that's it. They have the
Gotta
formula.
make the changes. You gotta make
Yeah.
the,
yeah.
and then,
But I think Jim could build the defense on his own without any superstars for the most part.
well,
A
he
couple
can make
pieces.
superstars. That's what makes him a
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
that's what
He
makes
definitely
them good
can.
coaches. And,
But we need a superstar on offense, a bona fide superstar. We have none.
Yeah.
and I think that's what sets some of these teams apart is that there's quarterbacks that and Herbert is definitely one of them. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's quarterbacks that make you better, that make the team better, and make people who they are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because they get the ball to those guys that, you know, are good, like McConkey, like you said. So, like, Darnold, he's only, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, Darnold came back to being Darnold because he was never even supposed to be that guy. He just
Yeah.
became that guy because he needed to be that guy and he ran out of juice. So, you can only have so much from the genie, right? So,
Cost
whatever.
himself 100 million at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
They had
Um,
this interesting take on that. They said, well, you can't put Sam as a $40 million man. And then they're like, and now if I'm Brock Purdy's agent and watching Justin Herbert, you'd have to tell yourself, okay, he's better than the $50 million man because he has more wins than the $50 man. And I was just like, okay, now this
I mean,
is,
that's in between,
Okay,
but
but are we really going to compare the teams? Like that's
I
just
know
that's
that's what they were
that's
trying
so
to say that,
asinine.
yeah, it's the
exactly because
leverage.
we were just talking about like the improvements that you need on another team, and then the other team has so much more, you know?
It's just that's the leverage that they're saying with the agents and the quarterbacks that are out there right now. Everyone's looking at Dak Prescott. They're looking at all the quarterbacks in the playoffs right now. What's their contracts? And they're kind of justifying, okay, that's the market right now. But it's like, nah, it shouldn't be about that.
I
I
mean,
think
if
in a heartbeat,
anything,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say in a heartbeat, I think Herbert is way better than Purdy. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Well, I
Oh,
mean, if you switch
100%.
teams, I
Yeah.
think the Niners win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But like Purdy is like he's good enough, but he's not Lamar, fucking Josh, fucking Patrick, obviously. He's not one of like he's already have guys that made a name for themselves. So he
Yeah.
can't there's no one he's going to that is like, "Oh shoot, Herbert passed to who?" and you're like, "Oh, McConkey, who's that guy?" or like, whatever. Like he doesn't have that.
Stone Smart.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that.
I don't even know where you guys pick up some of these players. I'm like, who?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
see, it's kind of like you're like, oh shoot, like he's a good quarterback, but there's lessons to be learned, So
I will say this too. Everyone kind of did forget about CJ. I will give it to that. Like even
Yeah, I
CJ,
could agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah,
and
we kind
he's
of
a good,
all
yeah. I never forgot about him. Trust
we
me,
threw him
he made me a
away a
lot
little
of
bit.
money
Even
this
I
year.
did. I was like, man, CJ, you kind of showed that
Well,
you.
he's got a little Jordan Love syndrome with the up the middle pressure. That is one of his little kryptonites. When people said like Minnesota that game, they exposed him very well in
Yeah,
that up
there's
the
room
middle
for
pressure.
improvement. There's room for improvement, and he's young, so he'll learn, you know.
Yeah, he'll learn.
And he's a
Yeah.
little bit of a competitor as well, which is what I saw and liked about him. Because when he played, I think it was the Pro Bowl, the year last year, he kind of showed that. And I was like, oh, this guy is a little bit like he's kind of like he just is like a little bit like that. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, I hope he goes further. But I don't know with what's coming up. But anyway, Brad, do you have anything else to add for any takeaways?
We
Yeah,
forgot
I
about one
think
team.
what happened?
We forgot about one team, Philly.
Philly? Oh yeah, Philly did come to play. Hurts did look a little shaky though, a little rust, but I think the team built around him is strong enough to carry them on a Hurts bad game. I mean, you got Saquon Barkley, um, arguably the best running back in football this year, healthy all year. Haven't seen that out of him in his career. Um, just a really well balanced team too. Good defense. Vic Fangio calling the defense. Everyone in the beginning of the season was like, Philly's defense, trash. Yeah, well, they play well enough together. They gelled, and look at them now. So. Big loss to Nakobe Dean though,
Yeah, big
linebacker out
loss.
of Georgia. Guy's a fucking he just
Is that a
flies
bad
around, puts a
loss?
hat on the ball. So
Yeah.
going to be big shoes to fill there, especially with the way McVegas runs his offense with those little Mickey Mouse plays over the middle of the field. So we'll see. I mean, football is football, and that's why we love it.
Let's see. That's pretty much all we needed to touch base on. I mean, I think that we went over every single one. I mean, the ones that we were memorable or anything.
Oh, one thing I did want to touch on briefly about the Brock Purdy thing is it's kind of like what Sean Payton's doing with Bo Nix, right?
Yeah,
He's making Bo Nix look better than he really is, in my opinion. Bo Nix had a good season, but you put a superstar with like a Sean Payton or a Kyle Shanahan or even like look at it like this: what Jim did with Justin with no receivers. Now take him and put him on that team with
yeah.
the Niners. It's over with. So I don't know if spending all that money on Brock is really worth it,
Yeah,
but
it's like the coaches make the quarterbacks and the quarterbacks make the receivers. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
It's
mean,
a
you guys are
down
almost
trickle.
taking another seventh rounder and paying him a rookie
Yeah,
deal for 3 years. I
yeah.
mean, let's be honest.
Receivers and other like tight ends, all that stuff is what I meant with like quarterbacks making names. They make names to make names. So like, and that's I think the whole thing of football, like you
Two cheaper
rise,
options. Take Aaron or what's his name? Kirk Cousins. They're a cheaper route.
but we'll
Yeah,
see.
and not a big commitment. You're looking at maybe a 2 year max with Aaron and three with Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have time to like get a new, you know what I mean? So, all right, let's go on to the divisional round, which is starting tomorrow. I'm sorry, this episode's late, guys. Um, Again, it'll be Saturday, Sunday games. We only have four, right? Yeah, four games for the weekend. And we are going into MLK. So let's kind of talk about it, but we're not going to give you our solid bets. You're not going to get it for free anymore. So go to www.thesportsbettingqueen.com, go under analysis, and you will see that there are links for everybody there and purchase the promo package for me and then also for the guys. Houston versus KC, which is still in Texas, but the spread is 9.5 now, and the total is over under 41 and a half. Is it still 41 and a half? I don't know. Yeah, it's still 41 and a half. So that's a pretty big spread. They're not giving Houston any credit, even though because they're playing, I guess, the trend of Andy Reid on a bye, and then also the resting of the players and stuff like that. But we just talked about this. There was a little rust on Jalen coming back, and there's probably going to be a little bit of rust as well for the KC people, even though they're at home. So I don't know, but I don't know. Big pick. Do you like what is your analysis here?
Well, I think that the Texans have heart as they showed last week. Um, Vegas disrespected them by making them a 3 point dog at home in the playoffs. And they just faced this team, less than a month ago. So
Hmm.
um, I do like the way the Texans are trending in this. I do think it's a lot of points for a divisional round game. Usually, when there's too many points, there's
You know what to do.
something a little fishy going on. And if you look at the history of the this year, um, Kansas City, when they're covering, they're not covering by double digits. they're covering by a touchdown or less,
or a kick.
and yeah, or a kick, and they're not. It's people will say that this is the best Kansas City team we've ever seen.
Yeah, right.
I can't see it. I
Best
mean,
one they saw was the first one they ever had
I
against.
still think Travis is overweight. I still think he's out of shape.
He is. He is.
The receiving core is not the same. Patrick has played like
They've
dog
got
shit.
some issues. Yeah.
This is the worst Patrick has ever played. Does he have an extra guy on offense? Yeah, he does. It's called the fucking zebra. The zebra bails that motherfucker out left and right. And Carlos will tell you it's like, oh, it's 12 against 11 every time. What do you expect? So,
So,
uh,
but it's like that's getting old. You feel
yeah.
me? Like people are catching up to that, and I see that shit all the time online, and people are like, "Okay, Casey, this and the refs and this and that." I don't know. I like your analysis. And everyone knows this. If you've been watching the show, like you already know, like if it gets to 10, you know what to do. You know, we don't even, you don't even,
It's time to buy it on back, boys. Buy it on back.
yeah, but that's just our analysis. It could change, but yeah, Prado, you have anything on this?
First of all, I didn't even know it went all the way up to 9.5. I thought it was
Yeah.
stuck at 8.5. Went all the way to 9.5.
Well, it touched 9.5. Now I think it's hovering at 8.5 right now.
I know the stat line out there is Patrick's, I think, never thrown an interception in divisional playoffs. He's
Ooh,
six
that
and
might be a good plus money.
he's 6-0. And Houston has never won a divisional playoff game. And I think they're 0-5. So those are funny little trends that they've stayed out there. One thing I did notice was D'Amico had some really good defensive schemes last week. I know when they did play that Houston was missing players. They had that nasty injury with what's his name? But
Tank.
isn't it funny how you go from what was it -3, 3.5 Houston that game to now you got 8.5?
Yeah.
And I think everyone forgets about this, but the Kansas City's last time or Patrick Mahomes, sorry, the last time he's played a NFL game was Christmas. Isn't that crazy? The last
Yeah.
time Patrick's played a game was on Christmas.
17 days.
Yeah. So it's like how
More
much
than that.
how much rust is there? And I understand the like you said, that famous after a bye, but it's kind of weird when you say that when it's in the playoffs.
Exactly.
It's
And
like
I think that's why I said it is
is this
because
Patrick's third bye this year? Like, are they always number one?
I don't
I don't think
yeah.
they were number one last year. Baltimore was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. I forgot.
No, what I'm saying is like once that trend hits the public, like when everyone's all talking about it, it's gone to shit.
Well,
That's
buy or
usually
not, they're going to be the public play no matter what.
Yeah, probably the most famous teaser I would say would be
no, what I'm saying
teasing Kansas
not
City
them
down.
as a team. What I'm saying is that like Andy Reid off a buy trend. Once
Oh
that
yeah,
like
sure.
like the logo trend for Super Bowl. Once that goes like into the public where everyone's already talking about it, sending it to each other, blah blah blah. It's like that's dead. That's dead. You know? It's like when scams were around for fucking Bitcoin and credit cards. Like that shit's dead. Everyone's caught on to it. Like let's not talk about it anymore. So yeah. And you guys will find out what Caleb and Bobby's picks are if you purchase it. Obviously, um we're in that round now where you guys got to pick it out and or pick the package and get it for the guys and make them earn some money towards the end of the year. All right, next game is Washington versus Detroit. This also is a 9.5 spread. I think it's still the 9.5. I'm not sure if it changed, Brad. You know?
Probably dropped to nine and a
Washington.
half.
I think it
And
dropped.
and then the total is over under 55.
Nope, nine and a
So
half. Sorry, it went up.
yeah, it's 9.5. I think. Yep, 9.5 over under 55 total. You know what? I like the under on this. And usually I would be like, all right, it's going over. 55 is high for me. And I'm gonna give that for free. But it may not be free because I may change my mind. So you never know. But anything for you, nothing for you, big pick, and nothing for you.
No, I just didn't put anything on the sheet yet, but the way I look at this game is you got Washington who's literally playing with house money. Like they're free rolling right now. And I think that Dan Quinn can put together a good scheme to kind of slow down this Detroit offense and keep it a little closer than the pros suggest. So I'm not going to give you a straight lean on Washington, but I think that they're going to come to play. And if you guys watch Washington games at all this year, Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the fourth quarter. And that's something that no rookie should really be good at. So I think this one could come down to the wire. Jared Goff in the playoffs historically has not played his best football. Um, it's
I
in
think he's on a
Detroit.
mission though.
He might be on a mission, but as Caleb would say, Buffalo's still Buffalo. Jared Goff's still Jared Goff. So if it's the same Jared Goff I remember, it ain't very good.
He has
So
5 wins in the playoffs in his career.
in what, 9 years
Hmm.
playing with the Rams in Detroit, not bad.
I do think that Detroit's offense can really pummel through. I get the Washington part though. Trust me. I love how Houston and Washington are in the divisional round. Those are both teams that I really, really looked at all year. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to not take the team that you think would win, but it's also because it's such huge spreads. You know what I mean? So, Prado, anything?
Jared is 5-4 in his playoff career. Jaden Daniels, I mean, by all means, he was like I want to I want to give credit more to Baker's fumble than I do want to give more to Jaden's
Hmm.
dynamite performance. There is a stat about him that kind of bugs me. He's the second leading rusher on his team, if you guys didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of bad.
Isn't that crazy?
Unless you're
Jaden?
Lamar.
Yep.
I knew
Unless
that.
you're Lamar, that's kind of bad. Unless you're Lamar or you're uh
Well,
Josh.
I mean, that's his MO. I guess that's his game, but it's still kind of like it's a head scratcher. I mean, another thing that was kind of a little,
It does make sense though, because Eckler's kind of like a receiving back, and Robinson's just a horse.
they don't feed him enough, I feel. I honestly
I
think
can agree with
that he's
that.
a really good running back, but what I was stating was that the one thing that was kind of head scratching, they were 4 for 5 on fourth downs. I was like, so this team doesn't kick anymore. This team don't punt no more. Like this team is literally committed. I didn't know this, but they're like 82 or 83% for
I
the
think
year
they
on
just
fourth down.
trust. They
I
just
And
think they're on
trust
their
him.
third kicker too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
wow. And I believed Detroit is at 66% on fourth down. So I thought Detroit was the fourth down team. I guess we have the Washington command that we're the more of the fourth down team. So I just want to know,
That might be a good reason as to why. Sorry to interrupt you,
I
but to
just think it's
why
one of those things where it's like
why it goes
when
under.
when is that gonna kind of shift into focus of like, is it gonna come to bite you in the ass? Is it gonna be one of those things where it's gonna help them because maybe they get 3 out of 5, but to see a team go into another team's house and literally go 4 for 5 on fourth downs, I guess you'd say tip your cap. And a doink field goal. Let's not forget the doink.
I hear you.
The doink.
It doesn't
Yeah.
worry you that Ben Johnson, with all the buzz around him, might be a little distraction.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know.
it's like I feel like he's happy. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's happy. Like
Well,
the
I
guy,
can assure you he's leaving, even if he's
yeah,
happy.
yeah. The guy should have been a coach last year, and I feel like he's just happy. Like I feel like he's going to the Raiders. So in his head, he's like, "Well, I need to showcase to Tom that I'm the guy."
Okay, all right. So you're good with your analysis of what's going to happen. Um, I have the same feelings, but I do think that it's going to be a little weird in the divisional round for public people. So you have to be a little smarter. They're going to start challenging you because they're getting you ready for the NFC, AFC, and then obviously the Super Bowl. So don't fuck it up, guys. Not you, but as far as the customers. Don't stress too much or stress too hard or stress too little. But what I'm saying is just it's gonna get a little bit hairy. And when it gets hairy, it means don't do the public bet as much as you really want to. And I've already seen that with some of the people that would text me and be like, "Oh, but you don't like." It's like, dude, I already gave you my opinion. You know what I mean? So, all right, Sunday games. The Rams versus Philly. Sunday's a different day from Saturday. So it's 6 is the spread, or I think 5.5. I'm not sure whichever way you get it. www.wagerattack.com. Follow them at Wager Attack. And then we also have a new sponsor, mybookie.ag. Um, over under is 44. Big pick. Do you have anything here? Like analysis.
Well, you saw what happened last Monday, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now that was a duel right there between former offensive coordinator and head coach, and Daddy always wins in that situation, right, against his kids. So I don't know. Sunday's a big day. I could tell you the
Different
most
day.
popular pick of the week will be teasing the Eagles down to pick them. So be careful.
It's a different day. It's a different day.
I would
So
advise to tease that the other way up to 12, in my opinion. But
it is not. Um, remember, McVegas is in season. So
McVegas plays on Sunday. Vegas is a Sunday kind of town. So
yeah. So just, take that with something. Prado, anything for you?
Well, we talked about last week, the better receiving core found a way to win. Kind of was weird that good old JJ was kind of missing the last two games. That was a little puzzling, and maybe it's his
how about
quarterback.
Sam couldn't get him the ball?
I mean, but they were like just not throwing to him. I don't know. Maybe they had a really good zone. Um, I know there is a fun fact for McVegas out there that when he's on a short rest, he is like one of the best coaches in the playoffs. This says, let me see, on 5 days rest. And then the only thing is, it's once again, it's in Philly. Philly's scary. Philly's a tough environment. Last week, I felt the fans kind of helped out because Green Bay kept on. They were in it, but Philly's fans and the crowd and the false starts, all that kind of got to Green Bay a little bit. I'm very interested to see how that linebacker plays. Jalen really played like shit last week, though. That's one thing that was like really troublesome. And I will be 100% uh, happy to admit that I took the Rams first half versus them last time, and Barkley stomped the living piss out of me. So that I do remember that game very, very well in LA. Barkley, I think, went for 255.
He did.
Damn.
That's the scary part with the points and everything right now too is
Game is
like
gonna go over. You're welcome.
255. I mean, he's not
Is
doing
that a
that
free pick
again.
I hear right there? A free one?
Free
Yeah,
pick,
but
free pick. I'm
isn't
just
that
giving you guys
crazy?
the totals. Does that
It
make
was his best game ever. It was probably one of the greatest.
Well, remember he came out at halftime and busted one for 70 right off rip. First play. Boom.
Yeah. All right. So we're
Right.
good with that. Um, I think I think honestly, Rams, Florida's not in it, so of course LA is gonna be in it. Just like how Boston always needs to find their way in some form of NBA shit. You've got it. There's teams that just find their way in there, and this time it's for NFL. So if Florida's not in it, LA's in it. And I'm not saying they're going very far, okay? But I am saying that maybe it's going to be dog favorite. But
How
just
about
say,
how about AJ Brown, 1 catch for 10 yards?
yeah. I do like that. There's a couple things that I do like. Anytime touchdown, obviously freaking Saquon, that's like you got to take that now if you have it. And then also Derrick Henry, if you got to take that now as well. Those are some obvious ones. And then rushing for Lamar, Josh, and Jaden. Jaden, I'm kind of iffy about, but I think those are some good numbers there that I saw. So if you're into all that stuff, you're welcome. But yeah, like if you do like prize picks or like draft pick, what is it? DraftKings pick six or
Oh,
whatever.
pick six, underdog, pick prize picks, all that shit.
Yeah, you can turn like I think it's like $20 into like 250 or something. So whatever. Yeah, I just think here Philly's at home and I get it. You know, do they cover? You just it's kind of iffy. It's Philly.
They're
So
gonna win by 5.87 points.
yeah. All right. Next game. I wish this was Sunday night, but it's Sunday afternoon. So don't take a nap. Baltimore versus Buffalo. The spread's 1 and the total's over under 51 and a half. This is tough because these two teams are like the best fucking teams right now in the NFL. So, geez, I just don't know what to say. Prado, you got to go first. I got to think about what I have to say because I like both these teams.
This is the best game of the week. I mean, hands down.
Game of the year, I
This
hope.
is the best game of the week. If you've noticed also too, may I add that we haven't touched up on, I forgot to say this. The NFL has done a really good job this year, or in right now. Everything we're watching is a rematch. Everything damn near is a rematch. Wait. Yeah, everything is a rematch. Every game that's being played was already played this year. So what do they say? Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Like it's pretty crazy. The stat for this right here is it's kind of funny. Since like 1970, the I wrote this down. The Bills have never been an underdog at home in a playoff game. Have never been a home dog. With that said, which Josh are we getting? That's just what it comes down to. Which Josh are we gonna get? If you guys remember a couple years back, Lamar played at Josh's house, left the game.
Josh is a dog, right?
Josh is a
Yeah.
dog.
There we go. What did I just say? Yep. Yeah. All right. So one of these games are going to be a dog walk games. So big
I'm
pick.
not sure this will be the dog walk.
I don't think this one is.
It's
Is it?
scary.
I don't think this is it. I'm just letting you know. One of these four games is a dog walk game.
It was a dog walk, I will say, during the
Not
season.
this
It
game, though.
was during the season,
It
yeah.
was a dog walk.
I
Yeah,
saw
but
Lamar walking a pit bull down the street, and that
yeah,
pit
but
bull happened
not
to be Derrick
not this
Henry.
game. Not this game. I think this game is not a dog walk. One of the other three games for sure is a dog walk. So, big pick, what do you got? Or what is your take? It's hard because we
It,
always
it,
usually
it is hard, but I think Lamar is a man on a mission right now, and the Ravens are playing really good football.
they could very
And
well win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking King Henry playoff right here. This is a different man here.
You
He
find a
he
way.
is he is built for this kind of weather. Like
And the
he's the biggest
coach,
running back I've ever fucking seen in my
and he's
life.
got a good coach now.
Got a good coach, disciplined coach. I think that I would take the coaching advantage here on this one and not necessarily the player matchup.
I think that is going to be the kryptonite of it all. It's going to be,
I
it's
think
going to
you could
come
go
down
down
to
the
the wire.
playoff list and kind of look at it like that and just kind of give yourself the answer with that saying.
No, I just think that like Lamar is more exposed to kryptonite when it comes to, I mean, I guess both teams are, right? Because they both get fucking beat by fucking Pat. So what the hell? But I do think it's gonna come down to like like how Baker Mayfield's game came down. Who is going to make the biggest fucking mistake? You feel me? Who is going to make the biggest mistake? And
I
that's
mean, you
why this,
gotta, yeah.
yeah, go ahead. What'd you say?
No, you're
I
good.
said that's why this game should be Sunday night, not Sunday afternoon when you're trying to take a nap.
I
Or,
mean, it's Sunday night-ish. It's gonna be dark here when it's over.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I guess people, there's a holiday, so no one's going to work. I feel you. Yeah, right.
Which team has more ways to win, Baltimore or Buffalo?
Hmm.
Baltimore.
I think so too.
I know Zay
I,
Flowers is out. I'm pretty sure he's not playing.
I don't think he's
Baltimore.
playing either,
Because
but I,
because when you put two and two together, right? Comparison sheet, whatever you want to call it, or I guess that's what AI would do. Now that we're in that era, you have the quarterbacks that are very similar. And then you have the running backs. There's one running back that's good, that's great, and then there's one that's fucking the best. Okay, one of the best of this all of these past however many years. Okay. So there you have that. Then you've got tight ends, receivers. There's some missing pieces, but then that's when the home field advantage comes into play too, because the noise, how things work, referees, maybe a call here or there that could make the game. That's the suspense in all this. And that's why we watch football, folks. That's why we watch it. Because who's going to make the biggest mistake? That's the fucking drama. Where you're like, oh, fuck, Baker, you dumbass. you know? So it'll be really, this is the game I'm waiting for. I don't really care about the other games. I guess Washington and Detroit, yes. But Rams, Philly, I could pass. Houston, Casey, I could pass. To see KC get beat, sure, why not? That would make my
I'll do
fucking
anything.
I know we would all be rooting for like
that
a
would make my
first
day.
round
I would
exit.
be
Oh,
drinking at that
oh,
time.
I will be rooting for Houston regardless of my bet, just because Kermit the Frog's got to go.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
gotta go. But remember, we made a pact. This cannot happen.
We also must add for the sake of Lamar, Lamar's got the hardest road to win a bowl right this year. This is the hardest thing to play Josh at his home on a repeat game, and then if they do win, they got to go to Pat's house if he wins, and
God.
then
See,
what? And let's
it just gets
pretend
worse.
let's pretend let's say the number one seed in the NFC. We'll just say that he has to meet them. It's like then he has to play the number one offense in the NFL. It's like, damn, that's it.
That's it.
All right, well there you go.
God. All right. Well, let's take that back for next week's show. Thank you for joining. Any shout outs for you guys?
Yes. Shout out to Marcus and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for actually being here. The guy's been fucking nothing but an absolute stud, and I hope they find a way to get it done. It's just like they're going against the Pats of college right now, and it's going to be tough, but I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, you won't have to pay for this pick, but Marcus Freeman is the first African American head coach in national college football playoff history to make the Natty, which will be played on Martin Luther King Day,
Nice.
Atlanta, Georgia. So,
Wow.
I mean, the
Wow.
writing's kind of on
The
the wall.
writing's on the wall. Yeah.
Points.
First championship
Unless you're LeBron James, you just don't like fucking winning on those memorable days.
on the
So
memorable days. Back to what I was saying. I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought. But blah, blah, blah. Oh, Notre Dame is going for their first championship win since what year? 1988, which was what year, Katie? The year
My
you were
year.
born.
Yes. Dragon,
So
baby. Like
the
for
Fighting
real, a
Irish.
dragon.
I just think it's their year. You'll ask Carlos. I'm an Ohio State fucking homer,
The
but
Ohio State.
I
Yeah.
think the money finally gets to Ohio State here,
I just
and
like saying that because I'm the sports betting queen. You feel me?
yeah, the Ohio State University. But I mean, money doesn't always win.
Yeah.
Sometimes better coaching and
Like
discipline
like
does. So
it's time for something different is what you're saying.
I'm not saying take the money line on an 8.5 point dog, but I'm saying the points might be gold there.
Yeah. It's
With
time for
Notre
something
Dame just wear
different.
gold helmets. I mean, hey, what do you say? What can I say?
It's time for something. Okay, anything else, guys, before I go? Because I got some stuff.
Atlanta Hawks for NBA on Monday. Free play.
All right, there you go. Free, just because you guys are watching. All right, next one is me. Go to Pine Valley Middle School. They're holding a drive-through donation event for all the LA fire victims. That's tomorrow between 10 and 1. So you can go right before the game starts, get a little bit of breakfast, but also, the stuff that they need obviously is cash, donations, food items, non-perishable, cases of water, toiletries, diapers, new or gently used clothing, blankets, towels, and sheets, toys, and stuffed animals. So make sure you go and donate what you can. Anything helps, everything helps. And yeah, Pine Valley Middle School. Thanks for hosting that. Other than that, you can also donate to LAFD online, and then you can donate. I will donate if you buy the package at www.thesportsbettingqueen.com. So that's for my home city. Shout out to Liz. I know she doesn't like this, but you've got to help her out. I'm going to have her link on Instagram and for her family. Although she is a Dodger fan, I'm making one exception for that. Um, I got a lot of love for you, man. But yeah, shout out to Liz and Jen. And then yeah, that's pretty much all I got for shout outs. You guys got our sponsors, Dior Beauty. Make sure you go to Dior Beauty, Brado. They got men's stuff, okay? It's
They have
not
facial
just
care.
yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. But they got really good cologne or whatever, all that other stuff. If you need it. Prado, you might need some Dior Beauty in your life. Huh? We'll see. All right. Valentine's Day is coming up though, so go to follow them at Dior Beauty. All right. Thank you guys for joining, and we will see you again next week.